Hello, Year 8. Today is the test review, and I will be going through this as if it were a normal one and we were in the classroom. So you just follow along and green pen your test. That's perfect. So question 1, the 3 healthy plants, and then the next page it says plant B did not have enough light. How can you tell from this drawing? You can say either the leaves are white or pale, or the fact that it's grown long and spindly. Generally, if a plant doesn't get enough light, but it has other nutrients available to it, it tries to grow upwards as much as possible. Because if we're talking about in nature, you'll find that plants cover each other over. So in order to get sunlight, you've got to grow as tall as you can. So if you say it's long / thin compared to the others, that also gets the mark. So I think the most obvious one is the fact that it is gone pale. Gone pale. Even though there wasn't any colour in the picture, you could still kind of see it had gone pale. Right, plant C did not have enough water. How could you tell from the drawing? Well, it's wilted. Okay. You can say it's gone droopy, or the leaves have gone floppy. So let's go for B. Give 2 substances a root hair cell can absorb from the soil. The 2 main substances are always going to be water and minerals. That is the whole point of root hair cells. You would have got a mark for oxygen, but that's not really their job. They can do that as well, but these are the 2 things that are absorbed. And I should use green pen since we're doing green pen. Right, question 2. The grass seed question. Now, which 2 did Nadine soak in water? Well, it has to be A and C, right? Because they've actually grown. And how do you know? Just say that the grass has grown. I think the key word is germinated. The grass has grown. Right. Part 2. Nadine watered them both for 2 weeks. How would the model that was watered more often look different? Well, if it's been watered more, it should have longer grass. So you could say that there is more grass or there is longer grass. It will have longer grass. Now part B. Why did the grass grow towards the window? Well, the whole point is it grows towards the light. You could say that's the direction that the light comes from. Right, part C. Grass plants have root hairs. Which diagram shows a root hair cell? Well, there it is. It was actually given to you earlier on in the assessment, so we should have all got that one. And what does it say? Fill in the gaps in the sentence below. Root hairs take in blank and blank from the soil. Well, this is water and minerals. Question 3. So this is the respiration and photosynthesis questions. So let's have a look. The test tube A changed from orange to yellow. What process in the cells of the maggots caused the colour change? Well, from the question above, if I scroll back up again, you know that if it goes from orange to yellow, which was this one, the amount of carbon dioxide has just increased. So what process in the cells of the maggots increases the carbon dioxide? Well, that has to be respiration. Well, why does this process cause the colour change? Because there's more carbon dioxide. I'm going to write that there is more carbon dioxide produced. You could say that the maggots breathe out the carbon dioxide as well. That's fine. So more carbon dioxide, CO2 is carbon dioxide produced. Okay. Test tube B changed from orange to purple. So here's test tube B with leaves in. It went from orange to purple. So the carbon dioxide in there has decreased. It says what process in the cells of the leaves caused the colour change? Well, this one is photosynthesis. And what happens in this process? Well, the carbon dioxide is used up, or carbon dioxide decreases, or is reacted. So I'm going to put CO2 is used up. Right, part C. Now this time we've got maggots and leaves. So why does it remain orange? So the whole point is that the carbon dioxide produced by the maggots is then taken in by the leaves. You don't need to talk about oxygen, but you could talk about oxygen because it is a full cycle. Remember, the carbon dioxide from the maggots goes into the leaves then produce oxygen, which goes into the maggots. So that's why we are able to survive on this planet, but this question is specifically only talking about carbon dioxide. So, carbon dioxide produced in maggots is used up by the leaves. Okay. Now, that's the simplest answer. If you said the carbon dioxide produced via respiration is used up in photosynthesis, that gets you the answer too. As long as you've got that kind of answer, you get all the marks. So let's go into question 4. So again, this is another respiration and photosynthesis question. And it says, what would the colour of the indicator solution in tube A be? Well, let's have a look. Tube A has got snails. Snails will respire, so they will increase carbon dioxide. So more carbon dioxide than in the air would be yellow. From this table up here, yeah, yellow. So name the process taking place in the cells of the snails that causes this colour change. So we've just done that one. We know that is respiration. So part B, what would be the colour in tube B? So that is waterweed. So let's have a look. Remember, photosynthesis uses up the carbon dioxide. So there'll be less, so it goes purple. So this goes purple. And what is the process? Well, this is photosynthesis. I think a few people managed to get these mixed up like the other way around. So they got the right answers, but they got them the wrong way around, unfortunately. So C, it did not change. So in this one, C, it didn't change. Why? Well, the same as before. The carbon dioxide from the snails is released and goes into the waterweed. So let's go back down, part C. You could say something like, if you want to be really scientific, photosynthesis and respiration happen at the same rate. Otherwise, the same answer as before. The CO2 from the snails, are they snails? Yes. From snails is used up by the plant. I'm not going to put waterweed because that's too many words. So again, the most scientific answer would be photosynthesis and respiration are happening at the same rate. Okay, tube D is wrapped to keep the light out. It contains waterweed but no snails. What would the colour be in tube D? Well, let's have a look. In tube D here, there is a plant in there, but there is no light. So in order for this plant to survive, it needs to produce energy without sunlight, and it has to do that via respiration. Yes, plants do respire, if we remember, but usually plants only respire at night time or if they're in the dark. During the day, they will photosynthesize. So at night time, it will have more carbon dioxide because there is respiration, or in this case, because it is wrapped in black paper. So it is yellow. Question 5. Mammals use fat as a long-term store of energy. Calculate the rise in temperature. Okay, so let's see. 4.2 kilojoules of energy will raise the temperature by 1 degree. So 4.2 kilojoules equals 1 degree C if it's 1 kilogram of water. Now 1 gram of fat equals 38.5 kilojoules of energy. Calculate the rise in temperature of 1 kilogram of water if half a gram of fat is burned. Well, we've got 1 gram of fat here, so what? 0.5 grams of fat. So let me get my calculator. 38.5 divided by 2, because we've only got half a gram of fat, equals 19.25 kilojoules. So now we're saying calculate the rise in temperature. So you didn't actually need to know anything about specific heat capacity to be able to do this. What they've done is they've given you a question that's difficult, but it just involves a logical process. If you approach this question logically, you can get the answer. So let's go to blue. We know if 1 gram of fat contains this much energy, half a gram of fat contains this much energy. You know this much energy will raise the temperature by 1 degree. So how many degrees will this get risen by? Let's have a look. 19.25 kilojoules is how much we've got. And how many 4.2s go in? So 19.25 divided by 4.2 equals 4.583 recurring. So let's say 4.6 degrees centigrade. Okay. If 4.2 kilojoules of energy raises the temperature by 1 degree, how many times does 4.2 go into 19.25? It goes in 4.6 times. So it will raise the temperature by 4.6 degrees. Fat is stored in layers beneath the skin. Given the function of the layers of fat, the whole point is that it keeps you warm. But we need to use more scientific words than it keeps you warm. So you have to either say it is an insulator, okay, or you need to say it reduces heat loss. You could say it keeps the heat in, but you're not allowed it keeps you warm. It's not specific enough. It's not science enough. So I'm going to say it reduces heat loss. Mammals with a high rate of respiration need to have a high heart rate. Why do they need to do that? Well, there's a few reasons. They need this. What do you need? Well, you need this, and so these two things are good, right? Glucose is good, oxygen is good, carbon dioxide is bad. So if you've got a high heart rate, you're going through this very, very, very quickly. Sorry, I should say if you've got high respiration rate, you're going through this is very fast. So you need a very big supply of these things, and you also need to get rid of that very quickly. So take your pick. 1 mark for saying to transport oxygen. So this is just oxygen, quick. 1 mark for saying to transport glucose. In case you wanted the symbol, C6H12O6, that's glucose. To transport glucose, quick. And 1 mark for saying to remove carbon dioxide, quick. So I'm going to do that one red because that one's a waste. So to remove carbon dioxide, quick. 2 marks. There's your 3 potential marking points. 1, 2, 3. You were allowed to say to remove water quickly, but the body kind of uses that water anyway. I would have allowed you to have to remove heat quickly, because heat is a waste product. But the main ones are these. Okay, question 6. Name structures A and B. A is the cytoplasm. Okay, this stuff here, this gooey stuff here, that is the... And if you look, let's do this like this. This bit here. Oh, let's undo that. We will do the eraser. Let's get rid of that. Nope. Okay. This bit here, we won't use grey because you can't see it. That is the on the inside of the cell wall. Just like if you've got a wall in your house and you paint it with something, the paint is inside the wall. Okay. This bit here, this blue bit, this is the cell wall. Yeah, that thick bit around the outside. But that green layer on the inside is the cell membrane. So you've got to be careful where the wire goes to. You can just see if I zoom in, so I'll magnify it, you can see that B is pointing to that line there. Right? That line there is the cell membrane. So this is a cell membrane. Okay. Let's go back over to this side a bit more. Right. Yeast cells can respire anaerobically. The equation for anaerobic respiration is this. Glucose will go straight to alcohol plus carbon dioxide plus energy. Give one way in which anaerobic is different. Well, what's anaerobic respiration in humans like? Let's have a look. So, glucose will go straight to... I just got an itch, sorry. Right. We'll go straight to lactic acid. Plus energy. Right. So that's what anaerobic respiration in humans is compared to anaerobic respiration in plants. So pick one of the things. So either it's different because, well, anaerobic respiration produces alcohol. That's the most obvious difference. It produces carbon dioxide, which it doesn't in humans. So I will pick, I'll say produces alcohol. Now, this one you might not remember because it's very, very similar to aerobic respiration. Okay, it might be a bit confusing which one, so just pick the alcohol because that is completely different. Our bodies do not produce alcohol. Part C. Give two control variables the scientists used in this experiment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to green highlight anything that is kept the same, right? So let's have a look. The scientists use the apparatus in diagram 2 with glucose sugar. They kept the apparatus at 20 degrees, okay. Oh look, here we go. Here they used the same volume of yeast suspension and the same volume of sugar suspension. Okay, and they use the same concentration of sugar solution. Now, this top right, so I'm going to literally write same. Yeah, so I'm going to write same and same and same. They're keeping them things the same. So every time you write, if you do this in your questions, every time you write the word same next to it, it equals a control. So pick them. The easiest one I think to spot is that. So one control variable was the temperature. So we should have already got that one. Now the next one, you've got two volumes or a concentration. Now you might not have known these were volumes or concentration because they were not specifically said, but you should know that that unit equals a volume. So I'm going to choose and the volume, I'm going to put a dot. A vol dot just means volume of yeast suspension. The word yeast suspension just means that you've got to put the yeast in something. So if you've ever made bread, you're supposed to get your instant yeast and you're supposed to mix it in the water, and when it mixes in the water, then it will start to activate. The same thing for this experiment. Okay, part 2. The graph shows the scientists' results. From this information, the company decided to use fructose to produce alcohol. Explain the reason for the choice, and it's a 2 mark. Well, let's have a look. They used this one. So time in minutes. Well, water was 0, but ignore this down here because that's just one of the lines. It's just 0. Time in minutes, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So, well, after like this point here, fructose produced the most volume of carbon dioxide. So, if you said fructose produces more carbon dioxide, that is 1 mark. But what is the important thing? So you could have said more carbon dioxide or faster respiration or whatever, but why is that important? Well, if you go back up to here, what do we generally use yeast for? Well, it's for alcohol production. So alcoholic beverages are created by using some form of yeast, and we call this fermentation. Now, so if I go back down, well, if you're producing more carbon dioxide, that implies that you will produce more alcohol. So you'd rather use fructose because if you've got the same amount of time, you could make more alcohol. So technically, you'd make more money. Right, question 7. Paula's marathon. When she's running, Paula's muscle activity increases. To do this, her muscle cells will respire at a faster rate to give her more energy. Her muscles need to be supplied with oxygen. And I'm going to write it over here because I've not got enough space. Glucose. In either order. The order does not matter with these two. Okay, these two can be in either order. So she needs to be supplied with oxygen and glucose more quickly. A heartbeat increases the flow of blood, which carries the waste products. Which carries the products. Heat is one that you might not realize, and carbon dioxide. Again, these two can be in either order. So for these two, I'm going to put an arrow like that because it doesn't matter which way around it is. And for these two, it's the same. So let's read that again. When she's running, Paula's muscle activity increases. To do this, her muscle cells respire at a faster rate to give her more energy. Her muscles need more oxygen and glucose. So her muscles need to be supplied with oxygen and glucose more quickly. Her heart beats faster to increase the flow of blood, which carries the products heat and carbon dioxide away from her muscles. The formatting wasn't very good in that question, so I apologise, but you get the idea. Right, once you've green penned, take a photo and send it to me, please.